let's try that again. Hey guys, I haven't done a video in a long time, but a friend, Jake, this is for Jake. He was asking for any how-to guides on like lower ranked compositions for tanks, and I just played a match that super snowbally. This is for like silver, gold kind of stuff. It's real late at night. Sorry, unfortunately, I don't have a high-end computer, so I'm sorry if this is bad resolution. But I think you'll get the synopsis if you just watch and listen to my discussion. So, okay, so I played Reinhart here. I'm gonna go ahead and play it and keep it on mute because I do talk through it. I'm a quite very vocal person in the lower ranks. But right here, as we get started, my team actually ends up picking 2 healers, 1 DPS, and I think 3 tanks. It's late at night. It's like 5 a.m. I've been wanting to just play like Genji and Tracer at the end of season, but I bit the bullet and know that we're on Hanamura attack. And in the lower ranks like silver and bronze and gold even, and even into plat, pretty much it's all about composition, not so much skill, but more of composition and combos and communication with your teammates. So the number one thing, Jake, is as much as you sometimes hate it, especially the lower ranks are quite toxic and stuff, but is the best thing is to turn on voice and have a mic, because that'll win you games, honestly, more often than not. If you can't take it or whatever, then just take a break, or do some quick play if you want to practice something. But that's the number one thing. I keep telling myself I've even turned off the voice and didn't really work so well. I did well myself, but my team, was lackluster. So, all right. So back to what I was saying is that this team comp. Okay, so the other caveat of this specific game is that because it's super early in the morning or late in the night, there's a lot of toxic and throwing people. So obviously we really snowball these guys, and because they go a completely terrible comp, I actually end up muting this whole context here just because it's not good for my psyche. But okay, so I start out, I go Ryan with a Diva and Roadhog as the other two tanky people with the Moira. See, that's the thing about Moira right now, is that after Mercy's nerf and Junkrat's nerf, Moira's super strong. That's what you'll actually predominantly see as more like a composition of, or combos of Moira Zen or Moira something less Mercy. Ideally, like if you, Jake, ever decide to pick up a healer right now, a really good one would be Moira. She's very similar to Symmetra, and so she's fun. She just does. It's like Symmetra that does more, has more damage, in my opinion, has more mobility, and can heal, and gets an ult super quick. That's quite useful. But right here, I actually am calling out. I guess I could turn it on. Deciding if I want to turn on my audio. I don't think I'm going to actually, but what I do is our Zen was doing really good. Our two healers were great. They were doing their jobs, which was made this so much easier. Along with the other team pretty much having no tanks and no heals didn't help them at all. But what I did here is I literally called out the Junkrat. This is a Junkrat in the top right hand corner. I said, Junkrat behind, Junkrat top left. And what that did was it allowed our diva and everyone to just turn around, focus them, get the pick, and then continue. And so we got the Junkrat pick here, and it looks like our Moira got the Junkrat, and then somebody else got a previous pick. And by that point, I said, okay, somebody else called it. Oh, we got two picks. So I'm like, okay, well, and I'm gonna walk in the front. Let's go in front. And I said, okay, I'm going to, pretty much go in. So that's the other thing is what I was gonna say is, Jake, with Reinhart, I've always said that be careful with your charges. This one was a risky one, but when we got two of their DPS down, all that's left is just clean up. So I charged in, came back, and tried to shield. It was just whatever. And then super snowbally here. And they just literally walked in one at a time. I was trying to do the Winston there, but he ended up jumping over. So we got the port. And look, there's a Junkrat. This guy's just throwing. So it's unfortunate. I call it out. I say, okay, got a pick. Let's try to snowball, and then that's a very general term. So what I say after that is, okay, well let's all go top right. I look at the composition. We can go back here. I look at the composition we're going against, and I realize that these guys have nobody who can stand on the point. I was like, they have a Widow, Hanzo, Torbjorn, and they don't have anyone who's going to be able to contest the point really. So let's all go line aside everything, go top right, take the advantage, get on, drop down on the point as a team, and just auto win. And that's pretty much what we do. They're all like, I was like, let's snowball, everyone go top right. I'm a little behind, so I'm like, hey, wait, just wait. So I'll wait for the tanks here. Tail up, I'm overly vocal, but in the lower ranks, you really kind of need to tell people exactly what to do. At this point, I know that they do have a Torbjorn, and Torbjorns, for whatever reason, give people trouble. So I'm like, okay, guys, let's kill this turret. I said, at first, I'm like, okay, going in, I put up my shield. Say, okay, I'm going to drop down here soon. Let's make sure we focus the turret. And as you can see from this point, that up here in the top left is Widow, where she normally camps out. That's great. If you ever want to dive, that's usually where she'll be, because it gives her the best line of sight from all points, and it also covers her back if somebody's coming from the far left. So that's a lot, honestly, for a Widow. That's a pretty good spot. If my team really does well here, they go in, they kill the turret in the bottom right. I say, okay, I'm engaging, I'm dropping down, I'm contesting here. I'm trying to draw their focus is what I'm trying to do. And again, back to saying how they did really good at killing the turret first. They preemptively used it all. And then our healers did really well, sticking with the other tanks, and our Zen had his ult super quick, which is great. Allowed me to literally just walk around and for us to literally just get on the point and win, which is great. And then, unfortunately, for the other team, I felt bad a little bit, but not really, because it's end of season, and this night, it's like 5 a.m. here. I lost like 400 rating just from literally being on teams with people who were throwing like that. So yeah, that's one another thing is like, if you actually, this night taught me a lot of like that I shouldn't, like, unfortunately you'll have wins and you'll have losses. Okay, and then you'll see here what I type. It's like, okay, now we're gonna defend. And pretty much you can see I literally just say, let's stay super tanky and 2 heals, please, it's direct to the point, and then I kind of say why afterwards, like my logic behind it, instead of just bossiness. Like I am whatever, but I pointed, trying to point out the logic of, they had 3 snipers, no one could contest the point. If we go super tanky, we kind of we got it in the bag. And they were all mentioning how it was a very low damage team, and it was super win. We had like 6 minutes on the clock left and stuff like that. And then, yeah, the biggest things were that I was trying to just call out, like, before I engaged, before I dropped down, said, hey, okay, engage with me, okay, we're doing this together, we're all going, as a team. The other thing I was trying to keep up with the team is for Moira. Moira is really, really good comboed with like 3 tanks. Because she can get her ult in like, 40 seconds or something, which is insanely quick. Like the average DPSer, like a tracer usually can get a good pulse bomb like at our like in a minute. 50 seconds is like headshot everything. Third shot, 30 seconds if he's like grandmaster and awesome on top of it and stuff. So if Amora is getting her ult first before everybody else, it's advantageous for our team when we snowball the second point. Okay, so here ISM, everyone's like cool saying the same comp of you literally just, you see, actually Junkrat I guess put a trap and got a pick, which is great for him. That's almost like 30 or 40%. I think it's like 24% alt charge or something. But we stay 3 tanks, 2 heals, and a Junkrat as the one single DPS, which is great. And so that's again the 3 tanks comboed with the Moira and Zen, usually for like the offsetting of the DPS, lacking of the DPS, is a great combo. And this runs really, really well, even this one, or like with maybe a different. I mean, Junkrat can go as well because it's super tanky, and he just needs to be super safe, kind of stay back with the D.Va and behind the Reinhart, But I was gonna say it's really good for the lunar colony one too. Is that if you can con people into taking this composition or this one with a Lucio, Moira, or an Ana Moira, it doesn't anything with a Moira, and then on attack of lunar colony, you say, hey, everyone go left and you go left past a little mini heal pack and come in from the left hand side. And I mean, Jake, I've at this rating up to like 2400, I win that like 98%. We cap the first point in the very first push. It's super strong with Moira doing 3 tanks and a secondary heal. It's just crazy. She gets her ult by literally just everyone going left, and then her just holding down and AoE healing, just healing, not putting her little orb of DPS out, but just healing, holding the orb, and she'll get like 60% of her ult before you even get onto the point on the first push. It's just crazy. And then yeah, you usually have her ult, or even sometimes you use it by that time. You just sit in that little room with a little mini pack, and then I'm going off topic there, but so yeah, let me come back. Okay, so we're still doing the Rhine. I suggest this. Everyone's like, cool, yeah, let's do this, and hope for the best that they stay hopefully they're tilted. When we get like 6 minutes as a time bank. And I'm like, okay, these guys are gonna be tilted, guys. Let's just go tanky, play it super safe, play it super defensive, and the hardest thing about our composition is just the delayed gratification of wanting to push out for kills, we just gotta hold back, stay back, just outnumber them on the point. We auto win. And that's what I say here is like, I'm actually thinking about holding on the point itself. And the reason for that in the back of my head is that the lower the rank people, if you set up farther up, people fall apart. Like their coordination falls apart when you need to back up and reset your positioning and stuff. So I'm just like, let's just set up on point. If we're on point, there's nowhere else to go in my head, So it's like, oh, they'll know their roles, Same thing like on Lunar Colony on defense, that people try to set up on the high ground first, and then when they get dove, they fall apart when they need to regroup on the point. So this is, and then I pretty much just continue saying, I go back and forth of being like Mr. Nanny, saying, "Oh, okay, good pick. Okay, now let's bring it back in." With the Roadhog, I know he's watching the flanks, and pretty much I'm calling out if anyone goes left. I'm like, oh, there's a tracer that went left. Tracer's flanking left. Just be aware of it. That's one thing, is calling out what you see. And then the other thing is, I'm constantly watching my shield, and if I'm going to want to recharge it, I say, okay guys, I'm recharging, I'm going to step back, recharge, and I slowly try to just walk over towards the wall like that, like slowly walk to the left or to the right behind a wall, and then, to give my teammates a visual representation of that I'm going to recharge my shield, guys, okay, slowly follow me and get out of the way so you don't get hit. So obviously here what's happening is that I guess our Junkrat's doing great with the Zen and getting picks, which is awesome. But the other thing is that there's a random Lucio that just shows up. So these guys are tilted. These guys are throwing. Like I said, it wasn't really going to be the biggest fight on their part, but you can see the Widow got our Junkrat. The second I saw that, I'm taking mental note. Okay, we're down our 1 DPS. Hey guys, let's regroup. We lost our DPS. Okay, great. We got a pick. Good job. Reset. I know it's kind of annoying, but like to be that vocal. But unfortunately, at this lower rating, it's almost needed. I overcompensate for everyone else's lack of communication. So until I get up in the higher ones and other people actually chime in that, oh, Mercy's dead, Lucio 10 HP, stuff like that, which is great to call out too if you're that Roadhog, let's say, or you're the Zen watching the left flank. Here I was saying, I'm looking around as I'm charging my shield, where is everybody on our team? I think we just lost our DPS. I said, okay, we lost our DPS. And I see our diva going, I think she's far left, I think chasing somebody, and Roadhog's still watching our right flank, which is good, but I'm like, hey, just let's play it safe, let's regroup. Oh, there's somebody top left. I say, he's still top left, and good job, it's watch out, they have a, I call it, I see a Jafara, that's a new character, so I see, okay, they have a Jafara now, guys. Oh, here, I'm gonna recharge my shield, guys. So I slowly walk to the left again, recharging my shield, line of sight the Widow. It's almost hit like it is, it's sort of like Nanny. But communication at this level actually wins games. Like I said, it's like, this is nothing here. You don't ever see me charging out. I'm sticking to my strategy of staying super defensive on the point. And this entire map, I don't die. Have decent heals, which is great. Our Zen was doing wonderful as well. Staying behind the shields, literally just getting picks. It's all. And here too, I say I'm trying to recharge my shield as much as I can, but also know that they're going to engage here. It looks like they're going to come in, so I call it out. And that's really the big first major charge for me is right there. And the reason I did that among everything else instead of just swinging is that in their composition, D.Va I believe is like the only tank. It's not only the one of the tanks, but it's one of the tanks that can block everything my team is putting out. So that's a major focus for Reinhart if you can get the pick is a D.Va. A D.Va is very, very strong. It can be a huge problem for your team. You know, what does he do? He blocks your Moira healing, your Zen, you know, your Roadhog DPS, your other D.Va, your other tanks, your D.Va's DPS, stuff like that. You know, get him out of mech and then say, oh, just leave him or whatever. So our Zen did that perfectly, which is awesome. Trying to call out Mercy, Mercy, because at this elo, the 2 is that the next major thing, aside from sticking to the strategy and communicating, is punishing people who overextend. And you can literally see Mercy's on. You know, she's trying so hard. You know, because all of her teammates are like not doing anything. So I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm saying, okay, let's punish this Mercy who overextended. She's on the point all by herself versus 5 of us. You know, let's kill her. But as you can see here, what I do there instead is just tank and break my shield, taking the far alt to try to save as many people as I can. It was like a Torbjorn was up there, so Zin took out the level 1 turret, and then they're all, you know, my teammates all like, yeah, we're badass, you know. I call it here, I see 25 minutes. I periodically look at the clock. That's what I'm doing about every minute. Also, I'm trying to see how many more fights do we have. You know, what are our alts? You know, what are my team alts? If I don't know, sometimes they even ask, hey, what's alt check? You know, and they'll hit their button, and then I can say, oh, you know, I think I called that earlier too. Was before this entire fight, I was trying to do alt management. That's what I did here, and I asked like, oh, what's our alts at? You know, they're gonna come in. Far probably has barrage here. You know, just be ready for this. You know, stuff like that. And I think I was saying, oh, hey, Roadhog, can you use your alt first before everybody else's? I think that's what I was saying here. And what he does is actually he says, you know, he hits this little button. Says, oh, I'm at 85%, or that's the D.Va, I guess. That's the D.Va. But that's the biggest thing is I was trying to just alt advantage of use the Roadhog alt for pushback, because that's the only, you know, the only thing that they can really do is D.Va come on point. And the second if you push out the D.Va, I mean, it's easy pickings, right? Takes like a couple, I think it's like 2 to 4 seconds to recharge like 400 HP on your shield. But again, okay, so we're back to charging the D.Va, using my shield as much as possible, calling out Mercy. For our barrages, I just tank the entire thing and try to let Zen kill him. And then here too, good job. I compliment our team and say, okay, I have Shattered as well. You know, great job. Just reset it. We are down junk. Just be careful. Just, you know me, overcompensating for the lack of talking on the team. Trying to throw out the fire strikes to hit that Widow. I think I hit him like once or twice. That, you know, it'll take him to like half HP. I mean, you know that. Same thing here, Junkrat, and I preemptively try to focus the D.Va. I even try to solo shatter the D.Va because that's our, it's like their one tank, the only tank they have. Here again, charging the D.Va specifically, get her out of the mech, and then just clean. Swing away, right? Unfortunately, their team was just Holy throwing. Okay, so we see here, and I'm like, okay, it's just the far left, and then that's it, GG, and that's pretty much the entire thing right there. Is and literally that we won that literally off just composition and sticking to the strategy of better comp. The biggest problem for Widow is multiple tanks, multiple. Not only is it, like double shields is a great counter to Widow, and especially if it's a, I guess this is a assault. I always forget what kind of map this is. She can't contest the point. So put some big body on a Roadhog is a really good. He's really strong. That's somebody I've been playing a lot to get better at, to climb. He's really good on just about every map, but body, I wouldn't suggest Roadhog just because it's a very wide and vertical map. Reinhart's still decent on attack, and like Roadhog on a defense and attack, there's kind of better picks. Winston, Ryan. If it was me, I would attack with either. I mean, it depends on the composition, but I would rather attack with a Ryan or a Diva. Winston's great, but hard to play. Ryan for the shatter specifically, and the charge with the really close walls on the point, but only when comboed with a secondary tank and double heals, like Ryan with a Zarya or Ryan with a Diva plus a Lucio, or an Ana, or that's unfortunately if you get like a Mercy Zen on attack, your best bet is to actually kind of go like Diva, probably Diva, and try to get somebody else to go like Orisa or Ryan or Winston. If you don't feel comfortable with Winston, because he's an entire character in himself. But yeah, that's about it, Jake. I thought it was. I was like, oh, I started today. I think at like I said, it was like 300 or 400 rating higher, and I was like, it was good karma that we had this game, specifically kind of like what you asked. But yeah, I don't ever play Run. It's nice though. Once in a while to play it. There's this. I don't know if I did it right there, but the only other like tip you can. There's a couple. Oh, there's a major tip. There's some. Okay, so on YouTube, a guy I would recommend. totally putting out here is that his YouTube page is Karq, Karq. He had a great idea, and he's done it first, so I obviously give him props for it. Is what he did is he went around to some of the GM's top 500 guys, and this one's specifically Clone Man 16 or 19. I don't know what his major, but he's got multiple accounts, but he's pretty much the Ryan main. And what Karq did was interview him and literally ask him a tip versus like as Ryan, any general tips and tips versus every hero in the game. So go check that out if you want to play a lot of Ryan. There was actually a lot of stuff there that I didn't know at all. Like I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like how you can counter, tracer pulse bombs and stuff, which you won't instantly always die to. There's stuff like that, and there's all kinds of stuff. But there's the one tip for Ryan is that you can actually melee fire strike cancel a animation. It's a little bit more damage, but it's always anyone can take that extra damage if you can get it. It's the difference between like an extra melee in, which is like, I think it's like, instead of like 150 or 125 for just a melee swing as Ryan, it's like 175 because it's melee. Fire strike, that cancels out the melee like halfway through. So you like melee and then fire strike halfway through the melee, and it cancels animation, and you still get the damage for it. But yeah, that's about it for Ryan. I'll try to make another video whenever I find some content. Like I said, I'm traveling a lot, but hopefully that helps you. You know, try it out, see if you can con anybody in voice chat to go tanky on attack, because it works. It's Moira plus the 3 tanks and something. Either Zen or Lucio or Nana is pretty OP, pretty strong. And then just like one guy you spam. Previous apologies. It's late. Alright, man. So this is Zing signing out, and this was another video by your OverWatch-Zing YouTube channel. Alright, take care guys, and see you next time.